Oil, oil everywhere, not a drop in the engine. Look at the mess. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, day 3. You can see the oil on the floor. What we're going to do today is we've got a full day edit today because we didn't get a full day on day 2 because we had to wait for the alternator to get redone and stuff like that. So lost most of the morning for that, or all the morning for that. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take off the lift pump for the fuel and I'm going to see if I can make a gasket to stop it from leaking oil. Also going to look at it because I think the lift pump's a little bit dodgy. I took it down the road for a spin the other day and when I came back the filter was empty of fuel. It could be, obviously tank could be slightly blocked or lift pump could be dodgy, something along them lines. The easiest thing to do first is check the lift pump. I have to take it off now, so I might as well do that first. Then we're going to put new oil in, new filter, providing we can get it stop leaking oil. New plugs. Bleed the clutch, because the clutch is grinding into gear. It's going into gear, but it's just grinding a little bit. It's just the clutch isn't being depressed enough. And then look at the brakes. That's what we hopefully get planned all today. Now, the spring feels good, which is good, and the gasket is bad, which again is also good. Yeah, the gasket is just completely gone, but we can make our own. But what I'm happy about, put the fuel out, what I'm happy about is the spring feels really good. Now, it's clever how it works. It's kind of like free energy. Now, I know there's no such thing as free energy, but you know what I mean, because this has to spin anyway, to put a little cam on there to make that move in and out. The thing is spinning to spin around the rotary arm anyway, so it's kind of like free energy as such. I know it takes more energy to make and all that sort of stuff, but you get what I'm trying to say. Right, so I'm going to clean all this and strip it and put it all back. Right, so I'm just going to clean this up. Just a quick wire brush really, we don't need to go too mad on it. The oil is kind of lubed itself, so it's just a case of removing it. There's no real thing in it. Give it a good wipe again all around here. And clean this up. The one on the engine too. Right, I've got everything cleaned. I've got this cleaned, and the engine or the block of the car cleaned. I was going to make a gasket for it, but I'm slightly changing my tactic on it, and I'm going to put some sealer on it. And the reason is, depending on the part you've actually got for your car, like some sumps, for example, you can't. This way. Some sumps you have to use a gasket on it. The older cars, some have cork gaskets, but depending on your car, the gasket, the thickness of the gasket, when something's sticking out quite a long way and there's a lot of force being put on it, because this is constantly going in and out, and that spring, there's a lot of force there, it can wobble because the thickness of the gasket gives it a bit of a play. This is a solid mount, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put some sealer on here, and what that'll do, the slight imperfections that's on here, it will seal it up, but the sealer doesn't tend to rock and move like the thickness of the gasket. So for example, when you put the two bolts in on that gasket, when the gasket squeezes together, eventually it could be a little bit loose and it could start leaking again. So I'm just going to use sealer, but before I do any of that, I want to actually check. Now there is a filter on the car, I'll just show you that. I replaced that with a new one, but there was an original one on that, or another one on that. Now, if this is working properly, you shouldn't really need to put a filter, because inside here should be a gauze which filters the petrol. There's no harm to have it there, an extra filter, it's no harm. And the other good thing about the filter is you can see if the petrol is actually coming through. If you didn't have anything there, just a black pipe, it's very difficult to see if you're physically getting petrol through it. But this technically filters it as well. Now when I open this up, maybe someone's broke the gauze, or the gauze is broken, and there could be loads of reasons, but one thing you do need to be careful of is, before you take this off, mark it. But what should be on it sometimes is a little mark itself. There we go, look. Hopefully the camera shows there's a little indentation on the cap and on the actual base itself, because you want to make sure you put them back in the same place for the pipes. So this could be a bit stiff. Oh, yeah, she's tight. Should be an O-ring here, so be careful with the O-ring. Let's look at this first. That all looks good, just needs a clean. Now here we go, there's the gauze, look, and look how much crap it's caught. Little O-ring, and then here's the gauze. Look at this, look at all that crap there. Even with the gauze you can see actually stuff gets past it. There's a little bit of metal there. Hopefully you can see that. I need to clean all that now. Give it all a clean before you put it back in. I'm just going to have to show the customer this, because there's a good chance there's going to be a lot of crap inside the tank. The tank might have to come down sometime and be cleaned out. Now, just the usual stuff. Just brake clean, and of an old toothbrush or something, anything, and we'll just be very careful. We don't want to break this gauze. Airline, even though I've got no compressor here, so I'm just going to take my time cleaning this. Getting all the crap out that's in there. Look at that crap. That's going to not allow it to seal very good. There's a little indentation I was talking about. There's no point in me filming this because it's just cleaning. You can see even for a few seconds. But again, you're just looking for any wear, any cracks. Over a period of time, the petrol can do damage depending on what the material is made out of. Make sure you got no flaking paint there or anything like that, because that's just going to block everything up a lot quicker. But when you kind of see all that, you are looking at the possibility of crap in the tank, and maybe taking the tank down and cleaning it out. So let me just clean all this up and then we'll continue. Right, I've cleaned it all up. I've lined up the marks. It's all in there nice and good. As best as I can clean it anyway. Well, it's a million times better. Now, these can be a nightmare to get back on because you're fighting against this spring. And I looked at this seal again and I saw a little nick in it just there. So I'm going to put that nick to the body of this away from the engine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal both sides of this because essentially the engine oil kind of lubes this spring as well. So I'm just going to put some sealer on both sides, very thin amount, and it's going to be absolutely perfect. There's going to be no issues, no worries with it, and it's going to be good to go. So again, you need to be careful. You don't want to run sealer on this. I'm going to run sealer on this and not that because you might be tempted to go there and you're going to put a big lump of sealer that is basically no needs to be there. You don't want to screw it in too much because if you do, you'll push out the other end and you won't be able to get the other bolt in, and the other bolt is on the floor now. The bolt is a lot harder to get in. Now, the other thing we have to be careful of is you can over tighten them and absolutely crack that big seal in between because it's only, well, some of them are made of copper, some of them are made of rubber or plastic. Just be careful because you can very easily crack them. So just give them a good nip but not too tight. I'm going to wait for that to dry because I have to now, once that dries, start the engine, heat up the oil and drain it. And then, yeah, put the pipes back on. I'm putting Jubilee clips back on with the pipes this time. And then we're good to go. Sorted. Right, as you can see, I'm putting all new Jubilee clips on everything. A lot of Jubilee clips weren't even there. And, you know, for something like this, it is kind of important. Especially for, now the pipe that I put in on the bottom there is not really important in the sense of if that flies off, fuel will kind of just go to the floor. But this top one that I haven't put on, if that one flew off, it would be squirting fuel all around the engine, and it'd be squirting all the way up to the bonnet. It'd just go on fire. So obviously, very, very important. Now, if I just kind of zoom in, well, not kind of zoom in, but just put the camera closer, you can see it's squeezed out, it's nice and even, it's all good. I'm waiting for that to dry. So that's going to be a good fix. You can see all the oil on the sump where it was actually dripping. Once that's dry, we can actually heat up the engine, put the fresh oil in, fresh filter. I'm going to see if I can take it down the road again for a drive, and hopefully you can hear it with the camera, because every time I change gear it's just kind of grinding and grunching a little bit because it's just as if the clutch isn't pressed enough. And once I hopefully replace the clutch fluid, it should drive a million times better. So just let me finish off these few clips and stuff, and then we will get heating the engine up. Right, and just in case you're wondering, it's size 000, 9.5mm to 12mm. They're the Jubilee clips I'm using. And do not scrimp on Jubilee clips. From the really cheap ones you find in the pound shop to the proper ones, just don't scrimp on them. The proper ones are twice the weight and they are just so much better. The cheap ones are just crap. And for the few quid you're saving, if one of them goes on fire, they're just crap. Don't use them. Use the proper Jubilee clips. You can see all the new ones I've put on. because like I said, most of them were missing, which is kind of scary. Right, I've just taken out one spark plug because I just wanted to make sure it was right before I actually, continued. Good news is, now I just had a cup of tea, so I'm waiting for that to dry as long as I possibly can. The different style plugs, well, one's an NGK and one's a Denso, so I can't match the numbers like off the plugs, but we can make sure they're the same height, same thread, same everything. But the customer did tell me when he actually took one of these plugs out, it was all black and wet. Now you can see it is burning a million times better. The gap is actually a bit small on the old plug, but that's a great sign to see because we know we're actually getting somewhere. We still need to do work on the carburetor, and it's looking like we've got some crap in the tank, but it's good news. So again, as always, you take the plug out, just do one at a time so you don't get confused with the HT leads. Now, it is easy. You've got a firing order 1342, and you've got number 1 here, so 1342. So if you did get confused, as long as you know what number 1 is, you can follow the firing pattern around, so you can easily put the plugs back in the same place. But just do one at a time, and you're not going to have a problem. Screw it in as much as you can by hand, and then just give it a little nip just to make it seal, and there we go. Doesn't need to be any more than that. You can just check it. Oh, what's that? And we're good. Put that one on and do the next one. Let's have a look what this one looks like. Oh. Again, happy to see signs of some good burning. I'm just going to put these back in here for him just in case, because it's kind of handy to have spare plugs in case something happens and you really need a plug. Even though these are old ones, they're better than no ones. Always screwing by hand, especially with these, because they're at angles and they're all at slightly different angles. You want to make sure you get it in right. You can't cross thread it if you're doing it by hand. Oh look, it even gives you the tappets. Oh nice, it gives you the tappets. It gives you... Oh, it even gives you the spark gap. It gives you... What else does it give you? Some of it's gone. Oh, it gives you the 3 different types of spark plugs. And unfortunately the one we've got, it doesn't say. What do we have? No, we've got NGK in here. We don't have Bosch. That's handy. That really is good. It gives you also the fan belt, but there's only 3 pulleys. You really don't need that because they all go around one way. But it also gives you what to look for on the dipstick as well. You just don't see that on any modern cars. I know I've seen a lot of videos in America and there's pictures everywhere of everything, and you just don't get that over here. But the things like the gaps, it's just brilliant because we can actually take that. Now they're not loud, the tappets aren't loud on this engine, but you've got it there. You don't have to look it up, which is just brilliant. So that's handy. That really is good. I've just noticed that. I like it. Now most people, when they have an older car like this anyway, they have all the books and everything to go along with it for you know, for the gaps and stuff like that. But still, when you have it next to you, it's just brilliant. Right, I really don't think you need me to keep doing this on camera. That's it, drop it. I'll just quickly take this one off, and unless I come across something unusual or weird. Again, same colour. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It means the stuff we've done to the carb, we've done it good. Get out. You can see the old crush sleeve there is crushed. Get down. Compared to the new one, you can see the gap in the new one, look, is a lot bigger because obviously it hasn't been crushed. So I'm just gonna keep doing all the rest of the two, and then I'm going to do as much as I can without starting the engine, because I want that just to 100% dry and seal before we start the engine to heat it up to do the oil change. I know there's a big thing, some people say you don't need to heat it up and some people say you do. I just find it a lot easier, even in modern cars, but especially older cars. The oil tends to be a hell of a lot thicker in the older cars. Well, it is a lot thicker. So you want it to heat up to get all the crap into the bottom. So when you drain it, you know you're draining all the crap out, and it's just better. So that's what we're... Right, so I got all the spark plugs in, and I just said I'd quickly show you this, because most people, or a lot of people, might not have actually seen the type of fuses that are in here. Now, I'm hoping, or I'm expecting to see ceramic fuses, but and you have to be careful with ceramic fuses because they're not the same colour code as a modern fuse. Like if you look at a spade fuse, it's red 10 amp. No, ceramic red is 16 amp. So if you are maybe thinking of, I don't know, converting over to normal fuse or anything, don't go off the normal colour code numbers because they won't work. Do we have ceramic fuses? Oh, we do. Look at them bad boys. We have ceramic fuses. Now the white ones are 8 amp. I believe the blue ones are 25. Red is 16. And we've got, these ones are 35, I believe. Oh, look, we've got one that's absolutely melted here. Now, I'm guessing, I knew he was going to do that. Just knew he was going to do that. Let's take the blue one out. Is there a... it's a bit awkward too. Is there... oh no, there's nothing to tell me what each fuse does. There's just a number. But when I'm looking at something like that that's been melted, I would be thinking that is a heater or the fan heater, because that's the only thing that normally produces that much current that it melts. Now, has it melted just over time, heat and the usual stuff, or has it melted and blown because maybe the motor is seized and there's just too many amps going through it and it popped the fuse? We've two more of the same ones, but I don't know what they control, and we could blow them. And it might be a bit dodgy just to bypass it, just to see if something works, because we could end up causing issues. And I've just noticed something else. The wires for the heater, is actually, there's one of them. That should be on there. Why are they not on there? I'll have to ask the customer. One of the wires is completely gone. This feels really quite bad. So I have to get a new one of them and new wires. Let me just tell that to the customer. Right, he's putting it on his list of stuff to get for the car. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to connect the battery back up. And I'm going to swap one of them fuses over. I have ceramic fuses, I just don't have them with me. So I'm going to swap this one over to there and quickly turn the heater on and see if it actually makes any difference. If it blows, I'll just bring more fuse with me tomorrow. It's not the end of the world, even though I don't know what number 8 is. It's nothing ignition related. So yeah, let's see. Now if it blows instantly, we know we've got an issue with the fan. No, it's still not working. So we maybe don't have an issue with the fan in that sense. But this for another day. I just thought I'd show you ceramic fuses, because I kind of like the way ceramic fuses are. They look a bit different. And like I said, the only thing you have to be careful of is you don't go on a modern fuse. Now you can see, you know, the thickness between the thickness between the fuses, so you can see the different sizes. But that blue one, for example, is 25 amp. It might not look like it is, but it is. So yeah, it's just something to be. And these could even be 40. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are. It'll come to me halfway through the video. But yeah, so they're ceramic fuses. Just thought you might kind of like to see them. Right, should we start this so I can crack on with what I need to? Are we dry? Yeah, I think we're dry. I think we should be dry enough. If it leaks after this, I think we've got more issues. Now we've got no fuel in the bowl because obviously I've disconnected it, and there's going to be no fuel at the lift pump, so this is going to take a while to start. Make sure that's off. Right here. Well, I say it's going to take a while to start. It started instantly. Gorgeous. We've done well. Yeah, that fuel's very... It was originally kind of yellow or reddish because I put some Red X in it, but that's definitely off colour now. There's a lot of rust in the tank. The tank's going to have to be cleaned. I'm just going to let this heat up, monitor the leak, and yeah, hope it doesn't leak. Do the service. Once it heats up, I'm going to take it down the road. Hopefully you can hear it kind of graunching going into gears. Then we can bleed it, then we can see the difference before and after. That's the plan. Now the work we did to that pump, I think has certainly helped. Obviously I put a new seal in, because you have to once you take it out, especially with it being an old pump. So a new seal, cleaned out all the filter, and I know I had it all empty because I had it all off, and that started instantly. I'm not happy with the colour of the fuel, but it started instantly, so that's definitely 100% helped. I'm just going to clean all the oil off here so we know if we've got any new stuff. So far so good. No more water leaks. The sump is leaking, but again that's for another day. But so far so good on that. We'll just monitor it. Yes, I know, what a lovely Aventus. Now, I drove this the other day and I just quickly drove it down the road, and when I did, the little filter we put in was essentially, there was no fuel in it, and I just got it back. And already from the way it started and just me driving it out of the driveway, it feels so much better as regards fuel delivery. But let's see if we can hear the graunchiness of the gearbox. Hear that? Try again. Hopefully you heard that. It's just kind of graunching into gears. And to get this in the reverse is quite funny. You have to lift up and push it way back before you go in. It's kind of where first gear is, but a bit further off when you lift it up. But the more I drive it too, the brakes are getting a bit better. So hopefully I don't have to do as much work on the brakes. See, it's lovely compared to what it was the other day. He's letting me through. Thank you. Ah, she's as dry as a bone. Dry as a bone. Still got petrol in this. Right, I was hoping I could suck the oil out, but the dipstick is just too thin. I can see the dipstick tube is just too thin, so I'm not going to be able to do that. And I just had a quick look at the actual sump. We know the sump's leaking, but someone's really been hammering the sump nut with looks like vice grips. I can feel there's a hole in the middle, so I don't know if it's like an Allen key in the middle or a torque or something like that. So hopefully that isn't been damaged and we can get to it. But yeah, I'm just going to try and get to this bottom bolt on the filter first if I can. It's going to be awkward again to film, but we'll try. Loose enough. Let's let that drain in the bodgit. She's going to be hot. It's draining nicely. Hot. It's a downside to replacing engine oil when it's hot, but there's a lot of upsides. Oh, you're gone. Oh, you're hot. You're really hot. Oh, I don't want the filter to fall. It doesn't matter. Oh, of course, now the bolt's fallen. It's not too bad actually. There's a lot of crap there, but It's not as bad as I was maybe thinking. I'll just let that drain away for a few minutes. Now what you might find with these older cars is the all the O-rings, filters and stuff you get with them might not all be needed, because these could be for a few different cars, and they just kind of give you like a kit that does everything. So don't think you have to use all these. If you've got one left over and you've looked and there's definitely no place it will go, don't particularly worry about it, because it could be for a slightly different engine, slightly different car. You know, there's loads of reasons why it could be, but that's what we get with this, plus the new filter. Right, so just make sure they're the same, which they are. Same size, same width and everything. This has obviously got this over, that hasn't. That's not really important. It's not going to bother me. See if we can get this O-ring out. Oh, it's well in there. I like well in there. Was originally round, like the new one, but obviously over time it compresses. Now, what I really need to do, get that up. Come on. Get this a really good clean. Now we've got a new washer for the bottom bolt. There we go. Yep. Now, put that back in. Right, almost forgot. We need to put, why is that not? We didn't get this washer with the kit, or this seal with the kit, but it's really thick. It's not cracked, it's in good nick, but obviously we do need to use this on top of that. And that's what we have to put in. Now we have to be very careful with these, don't fall off or go to the side, so we can stick these in first and then screw this up to it. Right, so get these in here first, put it up, and hopefully they should hold themselves, which they do. Now this can be a bit tricky. We need to get this in, up in there. Line it up without letting them fall, which can be a bit tricky. I'm holding the nut underneath now, just trying to get that started. If you're struggling for a few minutes, just let it down to make sure them seals haven't dropped. It's at a slight angle. It's just a bit awkward to get started. There we go. We got it. There's a little crush washer in there too. And now we're all good now. I put them washers inside, there's a sleeve, so they can't really have moved too much on me. The worst thing they could have done is fallen down. But like I said, if you're struggling for a few minutes, just let this whole thing down to see if the seals are falling. They didn't. So we just need to tighten that back up now. Right, I got it jacked up. I've got axle stands, I've got jacks, I've got wheel chocks. Best I can. As you can see, lots of oil near the gearbox. I don't know if that's engine oil or if it's clutch fluid, but someone's been at this because they haven't got the right tools, which is really annoying. If you don't have the right tools, just go out and buy them, because you're just going to do damage, and doing damage just costs you money anyway. It's a 14 Allen key to undo this. Now I've got it jacked up, but I've got it jacked up on the wrong side, so in other words the oil is going that way. So what I will be doing is I will be letting the car down off the axle stands and the jack to fully get all this oil out. I'm pushing it in same time as twisting, so I can quickly release my hand so it doesn't go absolutely everywhere. This is only a small basin, so I might have to stop this and empty out the basin. Oh wow, look at all the crap that's onto this. I'll show you in a second. I'm happy enough to leave that there for the minute just to drain off. But look what I found on the plug. You'll see, look, I'll show you once we get up. Right, I'm happy enough for that for the minute, before I let the jack down to let more oil out. Look at the build up on this. Look at the crap. It's just, wow. Look at that. The magnet has actually come off. Has that just been put on there? Someone just put that magnet on there without gluing it or anything. That's what it actually looks like. You'll see what I mean about the state. Look, that's vice grips, and someone had the wrong size Allen key in there. But that's just sitting there. Wow. That's not good. I can't leave it like that. I'd sooner have no magnet in than just leave it sitting there. Imagine, oh no, sorry, someone did try and glue it down with sealer. Wow. Wow. That's the first for me now. Sealing down a magnet. I was thinking it wouldn't have a magnet in at this age. Anyway, let's see what we can do with that. Right, we decided to completely and utterly take the magnet off because it's just better. Right, so we're using 1540 oil for this. I let it down, let all the oil drain out. Spoke to the customer like I said, and we both agreed to take that magnet out, because even with proper 2-pack glue there's no guarantee it's going to stick, and if that ever moves and goes anywhere on the bottom of that engine, goodbye engine. So we've just taken it out, not going to put it back. It's just a ticking time bomb. Should be enough to start it. Make sure the car is level before you do your final dipstick level anyway. Which we're going to need around 1 litre, 1.5 litres more. Which is perfect. See, that's what you don't want. You don't want that in there. Right, it's definitely enough to start it now. Yep. Yep. Do we actually have an oil light? Oh, we do. It's there. Oh no, that's just oil pressure. Right, now we'll watch our oil pressure. Bit of fuel. Oil pressure, boom, there we go. Make sure there's no leaks. Once we sort out the tank and get the rebuild kit for that roughness will go out of it, and obviously once we put all the pipes back in too, but it only happens when it's slightly cold. Don't want to rev it up yet. We'll make sure there's no leaks. Yeah, just as I thought. It's just coming down now, which is good, because obviously I was getting a bit worried there. As the engine heats up, it's obviously not revving as high, so that's good. But if I rev it, there we go. Good stuff. Yeah, love it. We're all good. We are all good. Right, I know what you're thinking. Why is the car wet? It never rains in Ireland. Well, there you go. Just started to rain. So, I just brought it in. And what I'm going to do now is, that's all good. No leaks. Well, there's no leaks from the parts I've done. There is still leaks. We've fixed a few leaks. Water leaks, a couple of oil leaks, but there's still a few leaks. What I want to do now is the clutch cylinder. And look at this. Yeah, not great. Now, there's no fluid in it. Is that for a few reasons? Because one, it hasn't been checked in maybe years and years. Or do we have a leak? Now, I've driven it and you've seen me drive it. So there's obviously just enough fluid in it to work the clutch, but it is kind of gronching, so it's not great. So what I'm going to have to do before I pour fresh stuff in is take out that bottle and clean it. Now, I have, over the last few days, I've been squirting WD-40 on that nip. I've even been squirting WD-40 here, because like I said, the pedal seems to be sticking, and if I have to take this off, the fact that I've been squirting it, whether it actually does any good or not, will anyway. So there's two 8mm bolts there. Let me take that little reservoir off so we can get it out and clean it before I go any further. Right, that bolt's going to break. We just disconnect it in the other way. Haha, we can. Good stuff. Now what I can do is squirt a load of brake clean down there. Now, just look how much better that is. I've still got a little bit more to do, but you can see how much better that is there now. So, just going to keep cleaning, put new stuff in. Right. New fluid. Put the little gauze down there so no crap can get in. And let's see if we've got any leaks. See if we can just hold itself. If it can't hold itself, we know we've got a leak. What I mean by hold itself is just putting fluid in, see if there's any leaks. Yeah, it's leaking. It's leaking out that seal at the bottom. Let me get a torch. Right, let's just see if it is. Let's just blow all that crap away. Was it just residue from before? I mean, it looks very bad, to be honest. Now, the problem with being a 7mm is I've only got a 7mm spanner with me, and I don't think it's really going to do it. Oh, maybe. That's a 9. I just think it's going to slip. Oh, hold on. Did that go? I can't get the fucking spanner off now. Ah, come on. You slipped, didn't you? You fucking did, yeah. Vice grips, hope for the best. Doesn't seem to be any leaks coming out of that either. Which I thought it was at first, but no. Right, is it going to work? Oh, you are joking me. Actually it is. Now, was that just because of the WD? Or was that because it was going to work anyway? We'll never ever know. And so many people out there think WD-40 is a lube. It isn't, people. It just isn't. It was designed to put on spaceships or space rockets at first to keep all the moisture off. It's not a lubricant. Hopefully now the spanner will do the rest. Take this off just to make sure it's not blocked. It's always good to completely take these off because it could be blocked and you'll never know unless you take it off. And in this case, it's completely and utterly blocked. So we would never be able to have bled that without, look at all that crap that's coming off there now. Lots of horrible, nasty old brake fluid. That would have never have bled if I didn't take it off. And you'd be scratching your head thinking why. Just let all that old crap stuff run through. That's it. Oh, look at that. Managed to turn that round 180 completely. Unbelievable. Try and do that, never be able to do that again. Still really bad stuff that's coming out there. It's trying to turn colour, I can see. It's getting clearer. I'll make sure I get it all off all the bodywork and all the paintwork afterwards. It's getting clearer. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. Are you idiot? Absolute idiot. Look at that. Now, I don't know if you can actually see, but you can see the hole. Oh, actually see the hole now. Can't believe I did that. Right, let's quickly fix that problem. Clean it all with brake fluid. Now you can actually see the hole now, where the bleed nipple goes into. That's how clear it is compared to what it was, which is good. Right, I think that seal is leaking. It's really difficult to tell at the minute. I'm just sprayed a bit more brake clean on it, let it dry up, and then I will pump the brake or pump the clutch a few times and see what's going on once it's actually dry. But I think from the looks of that, even now, I need more brake clean now. I need to get a compressor, I really do. I can stick in my van. Let's press the clutch. Oh yeah, it feels better. Low on fuel, but we don't care about that. Oh yeah, so much better. So much better. Oh yeah. I'm just using the clutch, I'm not throttling it. The brakes are sticking, that's why it's not wanting to go back. Because the brakes are sticking. If I use the throttle, it wouldn't be cutting out. Yeah. Yep. But do we have a leak? And I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, that other pedal, can you see it? That other pedal there? That's for the handbrake, you know, to release the handbrake. But no, you ready? For the wipers. Well, sorry, not for the wipe. Why aren't the wipers working now? Oh, that's not the wiper. What am I doing? It's here. That's the lights I was turning on there. Oh, so much better. So much better. But we kind of knew that was going to be the case. I can't go too far because of the old, we got a petrol crisis on our hands. In the car, not in the world. At the minute it looks okay, but we won't really know. I'll leave it overnight because I'm back again tomorrow. Now really what we've got to do is concentrate on the braking system. See which wheels are seized on that. I think it's the rear. Right, it does feel like it's this that's sticking the most. When I jacked it up to do the oil, the front wheel that I jacked up was the 3 as a bird. But I think it's the back ones. Could be the other front one or two, but I think these are the worst. So what we're going to do, we'll jack it up, just quickly check, get all the axle stands, and make sure it's all safe. Of course it's in gear. Maybe the other one. That one's good. So, if this one isn't sticking, then I don't know what. Yeah, I thought so. This is the culprit. Bang this off. Get axle stands, and yeah. Jubilee clip holding that together. Now, is it the handbrake or is it the caliper? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them pins out first, or push them pins back, should I say. Take the brake shoes off, or yeah, take the brake pads off, and then see if it's still sticking. If it's still sticking, it's the handbrake. If it's not, it's the caliper. Now we have to improvise because I didn't bring all my punches with me. So I got a nail. Hopefully if they're not seized, it's not going to be an issue. It's only when they're seized. See? You have to improvise sometimes. And not get your nail stuck. The other good thing is I wanted to do this wheel first anyway because it's the furthest away from the brakes reservoir, and it's the first one I wanted to bleed to change the fluid anyway. Rattle pin, there we go. Now, if these come out relatively easy, we know it's the handbrake, but if they don't, we know it's most probably the caliper. They're going to come out easy? Nope. Yeah, I think it's the caliper, which is a bit easier for us, to be honest. Yeah, it's the caliper. And it's just one side of the piston, this piston. I wonder if it'll go back in. I don't hold a lot of hope for this. No, she's seized. Completely seized. So, and all the rubber on that side is completely gone. So there's not a lot I can really do with this. Even if I do free it out now, I'm only going to be, it's only as soon as you press the brake again it's going to seize, so it's going to need a caliper or a caliper rebuild kit. Right, I'm just hooking up my brake bleeder, or Vlad the Bleeder, to this. Got that from Hobby Tools, and Simon, one of my subscribers, gave the name to it. We're going to put very, very small pressure through this system because it's old. And obviously I don't want to overstress the system. But I also need to make sure it's not weak. You can see this has been in my other shed, and you can see, just like my car, all the damage I got done to this. So we go to stop, turn it on. Turn the pressure off. We'll put it up to say 1 bar. Well, actually no, what I need to do is just turn it off. start, and let's put, there's the one that we've opened. Now, but we can still replace all the fluid first. That's not, no, that's loose. Let me get a spanner. And just a waiting game. Put this on. Oh. And wait for fresh fluid to come out. It's not really important to take the same amount of fluid out of every wheel, because the back wheels are going to take more fluid because the pipes are longer. It's more waiting for it to become clear and all the crap fluid out. That's what it's more important for, not necessarily for you know, getting the same amount from each wheel. I'll make sure it's still. Not really as fast as I would like. Again, maybe this is slightly blocked. Make it a mess now. Okay, it's coming out good now. Yeah. Oh, we're leaking. Leaking from here. Or from here. It's leaking from here. Right. That bottle is leaking. Right. It's leaking on this one here. Still is now. It's that bottle. That bottle is leaking, so he needs a new bottle as well. It's a bit of a nightmare now. It's going to be awkward for me to bleed this system. Well, in fact, I can't bleed the system. It's good to find these issues now. Actually, that was just completely loose, was it? I think it was just completely loose. Well, that's obviously, yeah. I mean, that's obviously the best case scenario. I can see someone's been at this because they've taken the wires off. See? Why, I don't know. But that has seemed to have stopped the leak. Right. The fluid is nice and clear now. So I'm going to cut this one off. There's no point me showing you the other ones because it's just going to be exactly the same. Take off the wheel. Drain it out, unless I come across anything weird or funky. If not, I'll just turn the camera back on once I've kind of finished everything, and yeah, we'll see what it's like after that. We'll see about the pedal, see if the pedal's still sticking. I think it's going to be, but you know, nice fresh fluid, we'll see. So yeah. Now we're on the other side, and this caliper has been replaced. You can see it's a lot shinier, and it's just, well, it's been replaced recently enough. But look at the brake line. Now, it's not kinked, but still, I don't know what's going on here with the brake line, whether that's the only one they could find and they put it on. I'm going to have to tell the customer. But yeah, I'm not particularly happy with it, let's put it that way. All that crap, look at that, we pulled out of there. Again, there's still a lot to do on this, but we haven't got parts, so there's nothing I can do with it now. There's a lot of preventative problems we found, you know, like the alternator vibrating, that could have fallen, snapped off, the leaking is there. So there's a lot of stuff we've done, a lot of stuff we've found. Heater controls, they're all gammy and stuff, the fan's not working, calipers and stuff like that, still need a rebuild on the carburetor. That's all coming, so as soon as the parts are here, we will be getting more videos on this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this out, clean up the garage floor as best I can, put some newspaper and boards underneath so I can see if there's any new drips, and if they are, where they're coming from. Is it oil? Is it water or antifreeze? Is it brake fluid, clutch fluid? Whatever the case may be, we'll just have a better idea, because I'm still unsure about the clutch. The braking system is fine in the sense of there's no leaks. I'm still not happy with the master cylinder, but we're getting either a new one or a rebuild kit for that. So yeah, new calipers and a few other bits. So as soon as they come in, we'll be getting videos on them as well. But as always, hope you like it. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. Well, I found out now why them lights, or why them clips were disconnected. Because the light stays on in the dash. So that's why they were disconnected.